grand old fucking time. Alrighty. Coming. Oh, actually, audio syncing in 3, 2, 1. Could have been better. Audio syncing in 3, 2, 1. That was good.
Better.
Joel, I want you to do an audio sync. We could audio sync together. Okay. Crystal, this is for me.
Okay.
This is for me and Joel.
Yeah.
Audio syncing in 3, 2, 1. Magical. Love it.
He's bored of me already.
The eye roll. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rolling with Reddit.
You know, every time you say that, I'm just waiting for you to say the tagline.
Some people roll with
advantage.
Some people roll with
disadvantage.
But today we are rolling through the forums here on Reddit, and we are joined once again by Joel Ruiz with Do You Validate?
See?
I like the tagline.
Oh, yeah?
I don't want to step on my intro.
You know, you're the first person in this room to ever like that tagline besides me, so I appreciate it.
I literally told you to say the tag. Excuse you.
That's a good tag.
It's a good tag.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jumping into the two options that we have here today. Actually, go ahead and tell us where we can find Do You Validate?
You can. We have a website. It's got links to other stuff. You can find Avarice Hotel, which is a 3-part miniseries using killer ratings, featuring Crystal and 14 other players with myself as the GM. And it's a standalone miniseries. And then we have podcast, Audio Roadshow, Critical Bits, and The Astonishing Adventures of the SS Batship. All of those are different actual plays wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah. They honestly, Do You Validate, and like you specifically as well, release amazing content left and right. And does the worldwide internet know geographically where you are?
Yeah, they know we're in Atlanta.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
and then we have the studio here too.
Yeah, fellow creators of the Atlantia, if you have projects that you're looking to, create and get off the ground, reach out to Do You Validate. They rent out their studio space to you and get you off.
A little Avatar game with you, okay?
Yeah.
For you.
Avatar Part 2, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I have all this crazy shit back here. We're so ready, let me tell you.
Yeah, I got the full. Did you get the full Kickstarter?
No, actually. So we did not get in on the Kickstarter.
Ooh.
I just blew them up via email and begged them to love us, and that's how we managed
I'll bring all my Kickstarter stuff too. Because I got the full one.
Oh fuck yeah! Alrighty, jumping into the options for you guys to choose from. The first story is either by Potato271.
I do love potatoes.
Yeah,
or
already big fan.
This one's pretty hot. Astro_Flame. Oh, sorry, Astro_Flare.
I still think.
I'm still with the potato.
The Irish in me, I can't fight it.
Potatoes are great. You can do a lot with them. They're a good source of potassium.
You can do a lot with potatoes, including voting if you think they're an asshole or not. Am I the asshole for counterspelling another player's fireball?
So I'm assuming they're both player characters?
I'm assuming they're both players.
Okay.
I mean, it's a fireball. It's the whole, small room.
Yeah.
You didn't clear situation. Then, yes, counterspell the fireball.
But what were the stakes?
That's what I'm wondering, because I feel like there's lots of times in my home game I play with my girlfriend and her 2 friends, GM. My girlfriend loves AoEs so much, and she's like, "Can I do Cloud of Daggers?" I'm like, "Y'all are in a melee fight with each other, all next to each other." And she's like, "Okay, so I can't do it." I was like, "You can do it.
You can do it,
but you will hit people." She's like, "Oh, I never get to use it." I'm like, "Stop running up, then." That is.
Wait till you're in a forest or something.
I know, yeah. It's but so there are times that I could see, but I gotta wait to see the context of
what
how
damage
the
does that do?
was used.
Slashing?
Yeah, I mean it's like a level 1, so it's like I think it's like 44, but it's just like big, nice AOE, low level, go in and out of it, So you get at least 2 hits on them, and they gotta leave it. Here's the thing. I think everyone, especially newer players, they see an AoE and they're like, "This is great. This is the way to do maximum damage." It's like, well, depending.
You can do maximum damage to a lot of people, including your allies and possibly
yourself. That's the other thing. Yeah, it's like certain spells, especially like Fireball.
Let's see what the stakes were here.
Context are.
So I've been playing D&D with a bunch of friends / friends of friends for a while. and our party is currently working for this local lord. Everything was going fine, we were all having fun. But last session we were rescuing a bunch of hostages from a bandit gang. The aim was to do it stealthily without battle, but the rogue got seen and it quickly became a fight.
Okay.
I mean, that's as most stealth missions in D&D do. So now we have a battle in the middle of this camp with a bunch of NPC villagers trying to run away at the same time, which makes it a lot harder because we can't really use AoEs. It isn't going great, and eventually our sorcerer decided to just chuck a fireball in, regardless of the fact that it will almost certainly kill most of the people we're trying to save. To be fair, the character is true neutral, and it more or less tracks that he'd go for an easy option, even if it's not necessarily the right thing to do.
Okay, well, if my character is then on the good side of the alignment, it makes perfect sense to counterspell it.
Also, even if you're on the neutral side of the alignment, it makes perfect sense because you're like, we're getting paid.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, I mean, hopefully it's not like per hostage you save.
Oh my God.
But I bet, if they're like, we're going to give you 500 gold, there's 8 hostages. You're like, we got 2? We got 2 of the hostages.
You're probably getting a
They're
cut.
gonna be like, hey, you didn't do. Also, we're not gonna hire you again. So that is definitely like. I feel like that is not an asshole move. Also, because it can be justified in game.
Yeah.
Where it's not just like, oh, I'm trying to stop your fun. It's saying like, no, don't do
It's
this.
also a good story element of 2 players going against each other.
I love party conflict like this.
Yeah. Because you're not actively causing harm. You both burned your spell slot. But there is like an actual in-game reason of like, hey, you're gonna kill all the people who are here to save. Like the job isn't to kill all these bandits because we need it. If it's supposed to be a stealth mission, I'm assuming the less death the better.
Yeah.
You're
who
not
knows who these guys are working for.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're not the asshole, especially even further on top of that. If you're working for a local lord, that means you're doing multiple jobs. And if you kill all the hostages, I don't think you're going to get a lot more jobs.
No.
So that is,
His logic is he thinks we're losing the fight and that a dead party will not save anyone. Whereas nuking the bad guys allows at least some of the hostages to escape. This is a trolley problem for this party right now.
Yeah.
However, I decided that killing off the hostages and pissing off our patron lord is a really bad idea, so I counterspelled the fireball. I'm playing a chaotic good Archfey Warlock. This really pisses off the sorcerer player, but we keep going and eventually win the battle with only a few casualties, although we have to burn quite a few resources to do so. I mean, it sounds like it was a challenging fight, that makes sense. But after the session, we get into an argument, with about half the table taking each side. Oh, big debate. The sorcerer player reckons that you should have never counterspelled another player's action, and that's basically PvP.
No.
Whereas I think that it was an appropriate thing to do at the moment. To be clear, this is a no PvP table where we have kicked out a guy who repeatedly tried to screw over other players, but I feel like this was the right thing to do for the party. So am I in the wrong here? The DM reckons that what I did was fine, but a couple of the other players disagree.
Yeah, no, you're completely in the right.
Yeah.
You're not the asshole here, buddy.
Yeah, because if the guy's gonna justify his in-game, his logic with in-game stuff, that's you have a justifiable reason to do it. Of just being like, no, and also that's like good character conflict that can be role played out to like have a good understanding between these two characters of like, hey, listen, like you're going off the handle here.
Yeah.
We need to actually.
That argument that they were having out of character should have happened in character.
Yeah, because that's going to be a lot cooler, and it's going to be like a fun, like possible bonding moment or a good story moment. And then also because that's not PvP.
No.
Like that's especially because the way I play a lot, people talk out of game about like, I'm about to do this. Is this cool with everyone? How's this?
Yeah.
And so there's some people can consider a certain level of metagame, but it's like we're trying to have fun here.
Yeah.
We still want to enjoy what we're doing. So that's the thing though. Like I'm sure the person was like, don't fireball everybody. You're going to kill the hostages out of game. And the guy was like, no, this is what my character would do. I was like, cool. Well, my character would say, don't do this, and I'm going to stop you. Yeah. And then also, if you burn resources, that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
And then you go tell the Lord, you're like, hey, listen, this was a little harder, so let's up the ante a little bit. We saved your people and went south. Like, that's all of this would have just made the game better if it was just handled in the game.
So many different elements here could have just really improved everything.
Yeah, and then, also, your GM sided with you, and not saying that's, like, always the case, but, like, that is... I mean, sometimes, I'm not, like, GMs, but, like, ultimately, though, that is the kind of the role. The role of GM is to be, like, the final, like, this is what we're going with here, here on all sides. But, yeah, like... The other person, because I don't even think it's bad the other person want a fireball.
No.
That's great. That's fun. Yeah, but that's not like trying to ruin the game for everybody. And stopping him isn't trying to ruin the game for everybody. Everyone was in character. Mm-hmm. The bad thing was like getting mad at you after the table, like after the game ended.
Mm-hmm. Which, feed into this top comment.
Damn.
You're hitting it fucking every time.
I run all these. Yeah. I really sacked the day.
I'm the author.
I was like, I gotta look really cool on my first time here. So I was like, oh.
Let me just create multiple Reddit accounts.
Top comment by Action Lawyer Comics. You acted in character to save lives. That's legit. However, Sorcerer is now pissed out of character. That's a separate issue. Mm-hmm. The does Counterspell break the table's anti-PvP rules needs to be addressed by the DM. Talk it out as players, and if you can't get a resolution, you or Sorcerer might need to find a new table long term.
Yeah.
Calling it how it is. Action Lawyer Comics. Really laying down the law.
I understand where your mind might go that is PvP because it's a counterspell. A spell is being acted upon you, but it's not in a harmful manner.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing keeping it from being total PvP.
Yeah, I think the only debate there is that Sorcerer, this is where I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. Mm-hmm. Sorcerer is probably thinking, if you counterspell my one way to survive and I die, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
So I imagine there was a lot of emotions that led... Well, yeah, but I'm imagining there's a lot of emotions during that fight where he thinks that they might lose because of this action.
Yeah.
That's not to say like what they like. I agree with you guys. I don't think it's PvP. I understand being a little upset about it, but I don't find the whole point of like being upset out of character and like making it a big stink. When honestly, this is just the most honestly. I want an opportunity like this as a game master for my players to go through because this will make bonds that will last an entire campaign.
And that's it's just a really fun opportunity to like actually get to play out the characters and the different way. Also. Like it's really hard to actually die, especially in like new D&D. You gotta do multiple saving throws.
Revivify.
And then you can still be revived. So it's not like I'm dead forever. And then also no story is good without conflict. So like that's why it's like that.
When you said no PvP, I'm like,
I do get that to a point. I will say, because I've played in games where people are just, and I've been that person, because I mentioned at one point, I think on the last episode, that there was like 7 people I could play with. Me and one guy hated each other. We constantly kept trying to kill each other. And the GM was like, you guys are just friends in the game. You guys are friends. Your characters are best friends. You gotta stop trying to kill each other.
No reason to try to kill each other right now.
Which... It's fine, but like in this instance, it is like that's not PvP. It's fun role playing, and also it is like fun character dynamics to see how everyone in the group is like, hey, these are our jobs that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You just because I mean it's the same thing. Like if for say like there's like you guys find a chest and the barbarian's like I open it. And then it explodes the barbarian and all the treasure, and the rogue's like, I could have picked that and disarmed the traps and checked for it. That's not an out-of-game argument. That's a funny and good, like, hey, let's talk about this. So yeah, it's not an asshole, and it is a shame that they missed that. Also, Action Lawyer Comics. I like your name.
Awesome. Love it.
That's a good name.
It's because he came up with it.
Yeah, it's actually you.
It's actually me. Yeah. I'm Steven from the last one.
Oh my God. Steve Sonia. Jumping into the next story.
Yeah.
This is by Astro Flare. This is actually one of my favorite topics within tabletop role-playing games. Rogue leaves the game after realizing that actions have consequences.
Oh, you just love people reaping the consequences of their actions.
That's the best thing.
Yeah.
That's the best thing. You let people do whatever you want, and then you show them later why they messed up.
Yep. Yep. I had an entire campaign like that. I did eventually have to tone it down. Because I felt like the game master who was always chasing my players down with their bullshit actions. At some point I had to cut it off because it felt like a very like me versus them thing. But I hopefully... I read the word Pokemon. This is going to be interesting.
There is by the first show we did Critical Bits, I think it's like episode 8 or 9, is literally called Actions Have Consequences.
Ooh.
Because it is just them like fucking around for like the first 5 or 6 episodes being like, we can do whatever we want. Like it doesn't matter. And then it was just like, all right, cool. I'm remembering everything you did, and then now it's full circle, and then they got scared. Then they stopped. So but I'm excited to hear this.
Alrighty, here we go. Our DM is running a guild setting. Think Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, where there's a quest board. Oh, this sounds like Westmarch. Where there's a quest board that has various missions, assembling a team, all that jazz. It's mainly so she, the DM, can have lots of players and cycle them in. This is Westmarch. Cycle them in and out as needed in case of scheduling conflicts, unexpected circumstances causing someone to miss a session, etc.
Cool.
Enter Rogue 1 and Rogue 2. Okay, 2 rogues. Crystal.
I should have put on my rogue hoodie for this.
I'm keeping an eye on your reactions
I
here.
can see you playing rogues.
I'm very rogue.
Oh, yeah. Rogue 1 and 2 were an IRL boyfriend-girlfriend, a rogue couple that rolled up in Aarakocra and Tabaxi respectively.
Very fun. Very fun.
Yeah, because Rogue 1 wanted to min-max and Rogue 2 wanted to be an anime cat girl.
Fair enough.
I understand both sides.
You know, fair. You know, your reasoning is valid.
Yes.
The group selects a quest from the board, which is a request to investigate people going missing around a particular section of woods. The party heads out and stops at a nearby town to ask questions about the disappearances. Rogue 1 and 2 decide to use this moment to peel off from the group and do their own thing, without mentioning what they were doing or where they were going to anyone. They tell the DM they want to head into the Noble District and find a house to loot when the party is waiting for them to get back. DM lets them have one and, through a series of decent rolls, allows them to pilfer a currently empty house for some gold and jewelry.
A currently empty house, you say?
I love the phrasing there. The foreshadowing is present. The party is still waiting, naturally assuming that once they finish, they'll join back up, and they do not. Rogue 1 and 2 both want to loot another house. The party decides to move on, heading into the woods without them, because it looks like they weren't coming back.
Yeah, fair.
They eventually find the reason that people were going missing, a cannibal that was hanging out in the woods and decided to initiate combat. So there's a plot and a B plot to this episode right now. The main story is fighting a cannibal.
Yeah.
The other story is a couple
going on ice.
Some animal folk just fucking stealing everything they can find.
Yes.
So while they're initiating combat, meanwhile, Rogue 1 and 2 keep insisting that they want to loot more houses.
You're giving us a bad name.
And the DM lets them roll for another house. This one is occupied by one guy. Now, this is a moment as a game master. You have the opportunity to do something very funny. And I'll say it. I'll say it now, and hopefully it's revealed later. You make this guy also a cannibal.
Oh yeah, for sure. As soon as you said this cannibal in the woods, I was like, oh, so they're gonna get cannibalized in a house.
Absolutely.
And then that's how you find them later is because perfect.
Rogue 1 and 2 jump him, and after a short scuffle, end up killing him. Keep in mind, this guy was a noble, and both rogues were aware of this, since they were looting in the Noble District.
Yeah.
They loot the second house, and the DM has them roll stealth as they leave to wait for the party to return. Both of them roll under 10. You guys suck.
In all sense of the word. Right?
So yeah, like it's so hard to roll that low as a rogue. For stealth?
Yeah.
You didn't expertise that?
Bruh. They head back into town to wait for the party to return and get arrested by guards about an hour later as people saw a Tabaxian aircraft, very recognizable people, leave a now dead noble's house, and their pockets were full of valuables.
You can't get out of this one, bro.
Yeah.
The party is currently getting their asses kicked by the cannibal, but the moon druid was able to pounce him as a tiger while the rest of the party beat him into the dirt. So they ended up with a win.
Okay.
They returned to the town to also get questioned by guards because Rogue wanted to mention they were guild members as they were getting arrested. The party isn't getting involved with their shit and tells them that they were investigating the disappearances when Rogue One and 2 ghosted them without saying what they were doing.
Yeah.
Fair.
You were under no obligation to save their asses.
Yeah.
Guards believed them because they had brought the cannibal's body as proof for their mission completion. I love how it's very like, cannibal. And it's like a recognizable cannibal. Like,
Yeah.
It's not just like another dead noble.
Here's the thing. Call back vessels. Prove you're a cannibal.
Prove you're a cannibal. Prove you're a cannibal right now.
Yeah. Someone show me a bite mark on him.
Rogue One, however, is bitching nonstop about getting caught, saying it's bullshit that there was no opposing roll to see them.
The guy.
Yeah.
The passive perception of most people is at least 10, never mind the average city guard, which is around 12 to 14. Not to mention the neighbors heard sounds of a struggle because they were fighting him in his own home.
She broke into multiple houses.
Multiple houses. You guys were really pushing your luck.
And you went to the noble district. That's where
the guards are going to be.
Well, not only guards, that's where the old people watch everything that happens.
They're nosy as fuck.
You ever had an old
They
neighbor?
got nothing else
And they will tell you, like, hey, somebody in like a chevalier came by today, and they were looking in your windows, and you're just like, oh, thanks. No, that was like a handyman. I just missed him. So like the noble district, they're telling everybody.
No, that got out as soon as you hit the first house. It just took them a while to find the murdered body. I love how they found the murdered body too. It's like there's a now murdered person here.
Oh, it's great that they just left it. They're like, murdered, walk out. Like, how could you catch us?
Bad rogues.
They were trying to find any excuse to avoid being punished. He eventually starts yelling to the point that the DM tells him, if you're going to yell at me in my own game, you can get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Rogue One bitches more, but backs off, and the session ends with the party cleared to return, while Rogue 1 and 2 remain in jail.
Yeah.
The DM tells them after the session that they can either try to convince the guild to help, legally, bail them out next session, but face negative stigma on future missions for a while, or roll up new characters to avoid the hassle. I mean, that's probably what I would do.
All great
offense.
All great.
Yeah. Rogue 1 and 2 say something about rolling up new characters, but the very next day, they make an announcement that they're dropping out. TLDR, 2 rogues ignore party quests and decide to loot houses instead. The DM gives them one for free, but they insist on looting more instead of doing the quest and end up getting caught. Rogue bitches, and eventually both of them leave the game.
Yeah.
If you're not here to play the game, then...
Yeah, I guarantee you, they even said that the Rogue One was for sure the boyfriend. And I guarantee you the boyfriend convinced the girlfriend, like, we gotta quit. And she was like, I just want to be a cute cat girl, so I don't care.
I know.
Yeah,
What a
that's the vibe.
shame.
Which, hey, listen, right. But no, I mean, no, this is very cut and dry.
Yeah.
Like, because here's the thing. The GM could have done some very understandable railroading and been like, no, like, I'm not going to split the party for you to rob people.
Yeah.
But the GM let them do that. And so you can't be mad. And then they got greedy. Because they said they did two houses? Like... You should know. You don't rob a house and then go next door and rob a house. Like, that is not good thievery, and you're
also
going to get
just,
caught.
like, bad intuition on the players for not taking the first freebie.
Yeah.
Like, the GM was very clear, like, this one is empty, you get some gold, you get some jewelry. This is a successful loot. Good job,
That's
guys.
what I'm saying. They're just bad.
They were just
rogues.
greedy.
Yeah, they just weren't good. I mean, you're not missing anything.
Yeah. I see another familiar face down here in the top comments. Actually has the top comment. Crystal, I don't know if you're going to recognize this name or not, but Shoe Owner.
Oh.
No? Damn, maybe this is from a time long ago. But Shoe Owner says, in principle, the idea of a boyfriend-girlfriend pair of rogues working in concert together as part of a team is such a charming idea.
It is.
It
It really sucks that they totally neglected the whole as part of a team thing. How did they think the rest of the party would regard them when their first interaction with them was to ditch them and go murder an innocent man in cold blood, then loot his home rather than the job that they all decided to do together?
The first house, I can forgive.
Yeah.
I can forget the first
It's
one.
very roguish. Yes, of course. You went to go steal. That makes sense. Then you go back
Yeah.
and do your job.
Yeah. It's the full-on ghosting of what they were here to do is what kills me.
Yeah, because it's just you want to take the like not every part, but like go with the party, go do the stuff. Yeah, it just feels it's just like there's no reason to other than you just think, well, I'm a rogue, I have to do rogue things. Like, no,
Yeah.
you don't.
No.
You can do rogue things and still be a party member and be smart. But also, it's just not a smart rogue move.
Right.
No.
Like you said, two houses. You hit one house, you get a bunch of gold. Great.
Win.
You know, and you come back later. Like, yeah, but also complaining that like they got caught. It's like, no, well, no, you got to be able to do something, and you guys failed your roles.
You know
Yeah.
what's wild about this, like, really kind of gets me, is that had they talked to the DM about wanting to play very roguelike characters, the DM is creating all these quests constantly for
Yeah.
people to come and go. They could have said, hey, can we do like a bank heist? Can there be a bank heist quest? Like,
Which would have been cool.
like they like even if this one particular session was not the thing they wanted to go and do, they could have done this to gain faith with the GM and then requested a specific type of story later
Yeah.
on.
Especially roleplay wise, do the job for the guild, and then tell the guild like, hey, if you ever need anything like this done, and then you can make a guild sanctioned mission later. Especially like you're saying, like Westmarch style. But yeah, no, I mean they just weren't good group
No.
players.
No.
I do really like the idea of like a very cute like. I'm thinking very Morticia and Gomez.
Oh,
Adam
that'd be so
style, like
cute.
two rogues, just like just
my God.
so outrageously in love with each other, and so outrageously dangerous and a little dumb.
Yes.
That's a great combo,
No, I agree.
and they just whiffed it. But yeah, no, they were just greedy and bad players. They weren't good with the group.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Shoe Owner concludes their top comment by saying, like, even if they didn't get caught, what kind of warm welcome are they likely to receive from the party afterwards?
Yeah.
They're obviously not just not team players, but outright villains.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like for sure. Like you left us high and dry. We had to go fight a cannibal.
Like, why would I ever invite you to be in another mission with me?
Yeah, because like they said that like it was a hard fight with the cannibals. So that means like they almost died, and so like rightfully in game you could be like, oh, because you guys were just fucking robbing somebody, and then to
I'd
be
be
mad
pissed.
that they didn't like cover for them. It's like no,
You fucking
if
ditched
you would have
us.
told us, hey, I'm gonna go rob somebody. We need a cover story. But like, there's so many ways that you messed this up and everyone else played it right. And also, once again, great on that GM for being like, cool, you can go, because I love sandboxing. I love letting people do whatever they want. And, you know, because I've told my players numerous times, like, do literally, if there's something else you want to do, we can change it, we can move it around. I'm very flexible. But once again, there will be consequences for anything you do. It will come later. And so this is like the GM was very gracious on this. They let them go off and do a thing, and you got caught and you're mad. Because this is people that should play video games. They shouldn't play tabletop.
Oh yes, it
You
felt
would
very
love
video game.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the because you're like, oh, I got caught. Hold on, I'm gonna scum save. Like, just
Yep.
let me go back. I didn't fail that
Hey.
roll.
Yeah, our version of like, oh, bless your heart, like the Southern, oh, bless
Yeah,
your heart.
yeah.
We just go, you would love Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I feel. That's why I love tabletop. Is because it's very you can do whatever. But if you want like a really linear thing, or you're like, oh, I'm a gunslinger, so I kill everybody. You're like, no.
No.
If you do that, it's gonna come back very quickly. Like,
God. Gotta love it. Or gotta hate it in this case. That does actually bring us to the end of tonight's episode of Rolling with Reddit. Joel, go ahead and tell everybody again where they can find you. Any recommendations on where they should start with your content?
Yeah, I guess so. Once again, you can go to dovalidate.com. If the website's not good looking right now or down, I'm in the current thing of redoing it with the web designer. So anyway,
so you got a couple of weeks.
So you got a couple of weeks, but we'll see. I don't know what's going to the web full. But anyway, so do you validate? You can. So there's Avarice Hotel. It's an amazing 3-part miniseries. Each episode is around 2 hours long. It's very tightly edited. Crystal is in the second episode. And it's a very good thing. So the 3 podcasts that we have, Critical Bits, Mask, Teenage Superheroes, that's done. It's like fully out. Ooh. So it's 94 plus episodes. There's a bunch of bonus episodes, but it's like a full campaign. Really good, very fun, slapstick body horror. With like Using the Power of Friendship. A current show I'm running with most of the cast of Critical Bits is Oddity Roadshow, Monster of the Week, 3 best friends in a van touring the Southeast, dealing with mysteries every time they go to
the Southeast, like U.S.
Yeah,
Southeast?
yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the Astonishing Adventures of the SS Bad Ship is our newest show. It is inspired by Saturday morning cartoon, so it's more bite-sized, 30 to 45-minute long episodes.
Oh wow!
Comes out every Saturday. It is think Guardians of the Galaxy, but so dumb and not good people. It is very fun. So all 3 of those, and that one uses Scum Village. So it's like we have like a superhero thing, we have some like monster horror things, and then like a sci-fi thing. All are very comedic in their nature. So check out any and all of those.
Wonderful.
Oddity Roadshow is hella horny. Very horny. Very
I know
gay.
Which one I'm starting with.
Very gay, very horny. So,
hell yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Check out Do You Validate? Top link in the description, and then of course below that the 2 stories that we covered today. Feel free to go show those posts some love, give OP some comments in your opinions and support. And in the meantime, we will see you all next week for more Rolling with Reddit. Bye for now.